want to talk about something you said a while ago, which is the positive sentiment in the market with regards to interest rates going down. On my side, I'm not seeing any positive sentiment because, and I want to kind of...
They're a workout attorney.
Hold on. But that's because they had to borrow money from their friend, from their confidant, whomever, to stay afloat. So
Leo, there's a difference between a new perspective of somebody new looking to deploy new capital into the market versus legacy problems that people have. If you borrowed at 3.5 or 4% and your mortgage is maturing, if rates come down 100 basis points, it's not helping you. Instead of going to 8% or 7%, you can borrow at 6%. That's still a huge increase. Legacy issues still have to be worked out. And that's why we have to get through this capitulation phase to clear the market out, to get rid of all the negative positions people are in.
Because they're waiting for it.
You know what's interesting about that? Yeah. And it's the sentiment, and we're talking psychology.
The
smartest humans in the smartest, largest funds and firms in the universe, what did they do? They ripped the Band-Aid off. You're hearing about it. They're handing assets back. They're giving them away. They go, we get it, and we're out. So the head of the comet, and Bob probably deals with it as well, know what the story is. Get rid of it. We have a loss. Time is short. We have a certain amount of capital. We got to go get paid.
But I'll tell you something. They're not going to do that. My guys, my borrowers, my developers, they're not going to do that until they get through those modifications, until they get through litigation. I have a fear that the capitulation is not going to come as soon as you may think, Bob. I think it's going to take another... Well, let's estimate. I'll go around the room and estimate. Is it 2 quarters? Is it 4 quarters? Or is it 6 quarters that capitulation is going to come about? My vote, and you might not believe me, I think it's going to take 8 quarters for that capitulation to come. And litigation is a very, very serious thing. And there has to be a flush in the market, the flushing of the toilet to clear all of the sludge, right? And I don't think that's going to happen unless we get into fights. But I want to hear from Rich. What do you think? When is capitulation going to happen? When are people going to start selling?
I think that the capitulation, it gets derived in 2 sectors. You have retail buyers and you have wholesale buyers.
Okay. Talking about Blackstone related?
No. I'm talking about there are 5-year mortgage mature dates that happen for multifamilies. And then you have the retail buyers who are buying 30-year properties, 30-year household primary residences, which are not controlling the consumer market, but can give you a clear indication of which way the market's actually headed. I think for the 2 markets, you may be closer to 6 months multifamily game.
Okay.
6 months, which is how many quarters?
2.
2 quarters. A good estimate. And for the primary residence, I would say that we're just about there. We're just about there.
That people are going to start selling.
People are going to start selling, people are going to start buying, and the rates are going to start reducing. And don't count it out. It might turn the market into a bliss. It might light a fire under everybody. They cannot unwind these rates too quickly. Because, all right.
Why?
Let's have this conversation. If everyone's not buying, what's all the money doing?
Sitting and being restructured.
People are like, yo, the first opportunity I get, because in 2015 I missed it. In 2019 I missed it. In COVID I missed it. The first opportunity, guys are sitting on cash for 5-6 years now.
Merchant cash advance.
People are holding their money tight. When the moment they start reducing these rates, and the best thing that Bob said is it's almost nearly impossible to time it. So you're really kind of just gambling, like, is it now or is it in 60 days? But Bob will tell you better than anybody because he's been in the business longer than 3 of us have been alive.
I don't know about that.
Don't date him like that.
I'm pretty old.
My daughter tells me I was born in 1462, so you might be right.
Bob will tell you that 60 days, 90 days, 100 days, 200 days, the saying is, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. So even if capitulation's in 4 quarters or 6 quarters.
Or 8 quarters.
Or 8 quarters, it's a pretty good time to buy.
Well, here's my point. And I'm curious.
Well, what are you going to say, Eric?
Bob's opinion. I'm saying the smartest humans capitulated, okay? Not the smartest. The biggest funds with the most money that run our markets capitulated already. The mid-market space, the sentiment.
Yeah,
that
I
we're
wanna know
talking
about that.
The $10,
I wanna know
$10
about
million
that.
marketplace hasn't. There's a lot more emotion.
But I'm
involved.
telling you that they're going to be restructuring for the next at least 4 quarters.
You know,
You don't think so?
I think that Cap,
He
the
doesn't think
same
so. He doesn't
people,
think so.
the same
why?
people
Why?
that
Why?
are losing money are the same people raising to get back in, is my point. Mid-market is emotional. These guys, girls, and these people, these are assets they've owned forever, and they forgot that it's a business.
And that's why I'm saying
okay?
it's going to be at least 8 quarters.
I think that there is such a dearth of product coming on the market, especially in multifamily. I can't talk about data centers. I can't talk about industrial and its
Office
impact.
spaces, right.
But there is such a need. I feel as if that the government is going to step in, assist, and that takes, just so you know, if they speak about it today, 9 months to a year. So it should be faster, but there's no way it's going to be quicker than 9 months
Well,
to
people
a
are going to
year.
gear up for that. People are
We'll
going to
see.
gear up. The second they hear any rumor about 421A, people are getting locked
Well,
and
it's an
loaded.
extension. It's just the existing.
They're saying-
He's saying that an asset that has a foundation or a one poured, that's a finite amount. Do you know exactly how many units that could be?
The estimates are 25 to 35,000.
Guys, that's nothing.
Well, no, here's the problem with
That's
that. Here's the
nothing.
problem with that. And I'm curious your thoughts on that. The rate on the financing is still more expensive. So the acquisition price, putting that footing in and then stopping, does not change the underlying economics of that project. So why should it immediately start? Should that original developer just take a loss and the new buyer coming in will immediately start?
But you're
Like-
assuming that they're not in litigation.
What
Majority
he's
are
saying
not.
is what he's saying is they're playing chicken right now. Basically, they're hoping for an extension. They haven't started the project. Maybe they have a
No,
loan
I
on the
disagree.
asset.
I don't think they're playing chicken. They know that 2026
the-
comes up.
They're
They're
not
I
playing
know.
chicken because you were unable to get a construction loan
Correct.
there. Because the bank, even though the deadline was June of 26, the bank wanted you to prove you can get the TCO by June of 25 because nothing ever goes according to
By the
plan.
way,
Agreed.
part of the mediation that I was having just today on the $76 million loan was, can you get this project done within 14 months, within 12 months?
Is it
within
scratch? Is it scratch?
No, it's
no,
half built.
No, it's half built. But that's what was happening. They made it a contention in the
How
contract
can
to
he
me.
sign that though? That's just that.
Well, I'll tell you how you can sign that, because the restructuring process works as follows. When you sign a deal like that, sometimes you have no choice. And if you have no choice, you got to go bankrupt. And if you got to go bankrupt, you get another 90 days. So that means if you agree to 14, you'll likely agree to 17. If you agree to 17, you'll likely agree to 20. And that's
So
the
you're
value.
saying
Those are the interests are aligned. Like it's different. Those
Yes.
interests
That's if
are
that's working.
aligned
That mix
between
is
you and your
working.
enemy.
Right, but I want to hear what Bob has to say. Is it how many quarters? Is it 2,
timing?
4, or 8?
All right. Well, Richie kind of touched on it a bit. My answer is going to be it depends. It depends, and it depends on one of the key factors of how this correction has played out differently than the past corrections we've seen. In this one, 2 big differences. One, lender behavior is very, very different than it's ever been before. Secondly, each product sector is performing differently. So I would argue it depends what asset class you're talking about. I argue retail in New York City today
Recovered.
is on the upswing.
Yes, that's
Same.
correct.
Because it's been battered for so long
Yes.
that rents, everybody thinks rents have stopped going down. Leasing activity is picking up. Investor demand is back. Retail's fine.
Yep.
businesses are good.
How about construction development sites?
Construction development sites, I think it depends. What are you building?
Multifamily
And where are you in the process? How much of the
Condos,
building has been built?
rentals.
All of these things.
projects
look,
projects that are finishing. Let's talk about 2024. Let's say he's asking when. So projects that are finishing 2024.
Yeah, I'm really
It's
interested.
going to take a while. Did you have floating rate debt? Did you have fixed rate?
Can I
debt?
tell you
That one-
something? Can I tell you something? Okay. I have a client, 19 projects, restructuring $2.3 billion in debt and equity. You know what he told me? He's like, Leo, figured it out. I was like, tell me, Joe, what'd you figure out? I'm about to blow up this podcast. 2, 4, 8. I'll tell you why it's going to be 8. Because he's like, nobody's transacting. Everybody's defaulting. You know what I'm going to do on all my properties? I'm going to default. I'm going to restructure by forcing the lender to work with me.
What I say? What did I say before?
So 19 projects, $2.3 billion in assets, mixed use, commercial, all types. Retail's on the upswing. He cannot fill half of what he has. It's all in New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. He said, you know what, Leo? I'm not going to stress. I'm going to default on everything, please call your lawyer. Do not default on everything.
This is not legal advice.
This is not legal advice, but he's like, I'm gonna default on everything, and then I'm gonna start my massive workout.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if I have 19 projects in aggregate of 2.3 billion, a 25% reduction in my equity is gonna yield me, how much is that? Of 2.3 billion, it's like 200, 300, 400 million dollars. He's like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna start building these assets. I'm gonna start flipping these assets. Because flipping them, once I have a workout, is gonna yield me more money in less time.
And
He's
no,
like,
no stress.
and less stress in building. He's like, I don't want to be a developer. I want to be a flipper of my mixed use projects. And
hard.
that's why and it's very hard. It is taxing. When they come to me, they're like, I've defaulted and everything. I get them 6 months to 9 months out, 10 months out. They're like, you know what? I don't care. I want to be in default because the market is shit. I'm going to take advantage of it.